Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Capricorn relationships, and yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing off, as far as Capricorn relationships go, well, the first house in astrology represents the paternal grandmother and maternal grandfather, and Capricorn will fall on the first house cusp in a solar natal chart for Capricorn. So one or both of these people represent maybe a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply embody Capricorn-like characteristics. It could be people that are somewhat despondent, melancholy, very serious, single-minded, somewhat intransigent, maybe even a little bit cold, callous, or undemonstrative. People that are very consistent, reliable, people that are very astute in business, have good business sense. Also, too, one or both these people may be involved in a Capricorn profession, such as working in information technology, working in dentistry. I would say even dermatology, because Capricorn is connected with the skin. Working as a business consultant, accountant, manager, landlord, some position of authority. So, and also, as far as the relationship goes with one or both of these people, it can be one that could be somewhat serious, very consistent, one where you don't really express a lot of whimsical energy, so to speak, but it can be a little bit depressing and perhaps even limiting and restricting as well. But one where it's very, perhaps you're very professional, and really, in a thing about this connection could also be where where it's very serious, and it's one that really what you want to be often about longevity. So anyway, next thing up is, well, as far as Capricorn relationships go, well, the third house in astrology represents siblings and cousins, and Pisces often falls on the third house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So, one or more of these people may be a Pisces Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply embody Pisces-like characteristics. It could be people that are very idealistic, self-sacrificing, compassionate, imaginative, perhaps even poetic, ones that could be very intuitive, maybe even mediumistic in some cases, but very sensitive, with very strong, sometimes all-encompassing emotions, and ones that can be a little bit gullible, sometimes naive, maybe even, and sadly, this connection could be tainted. I mean, it could be where they might even be somewhat deceptive or duplicitous. So anyway, and one or more may be involved in a Pisces-like profession, such as poetry, oceanography, dancing, working on a dock, bartending, being a psychic or medium, chemistry, pharmaceutical work. And as far as the connection and relationship goes with these people, well, it could be one where a lot of self-sacrifice is involved, one where maybe you have an intuitive understanding of each other. It can be one also where there's a lot of sensitivity expressed, and also could be one where there might, sadly, might be tainted or tarnished with a little deception and duplicity. There might be some gullibility connected with this as well. So anyway, well, the next thing up as far as Capricorn relationships go, well, the fourth house in astrology represents the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, and Aries often falls on the fourth house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So this person could be an Aries Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply embody Aries-like characteristics. Could be someone that is very outspoken, forthright, straightforward, direct. Person that could be rather fearless, have a lot of courage and fortitude, will speak their mind, but can be somewhat confrontational and combative even, but not one to generally hold a grudge or is that unnecessarily vindictive or vengeful. So, and also this person may be in an Aries profession, such as working as an EMT, a surgeon, even doing something connected with the head, such as designing helmets. It could be somebody working in welding, firefighting, arson investigation, or anything that may be associated with fire, even sports, or especially combative sports such as teaching boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, or mixed martial arts or karate. So anyway, and as far as the connection and relationship goes with this person, it can be one where really where it's very outspoken and direct and straightforward, where words are not minced, so to speak. One can be maybe a little bit contentious, confrontational, and combative at times, but one where you generally won't hold a grudge against one another, and where both perhaps people readily will speak their minds. So, and where a lot of courage and fortitude is shown, and you often stick up for each other at times when need be. So anyway, well, the next thing up is as far as Capricorn relationships go. Well, the fifth house in astrology represents children and romantic love relationships, and the zodiac sign Taurus often falls on the fifth house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So one or more of these people may have a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody Taurus-like characteristics. It could be people that are very stolid, really reliable, people that can be very loyal and steadfast, have good powers of persistence and perseverance, tenacity, but can be a little bit bullheaded and obstinate and very stubborn, perhaps even in people that are very money conscious and even materialistic. Now, also, one or more of these people may be in a Taurus-like profession, such as working as a stockbroker, financial advisor, cashier, cultivation, gardening, doing something connected with art, such as drawing, painting, or sculpting. And also, too, as far as the relationship and connection goes with one or more of these people, it can be one that has a lot of stability, a lot of peace and tranquility, one where it's very much constant, and one where you show a lot of loyalty and steadfastness toward each other. It might seem somewhat monotonous and boring at times, but at least, I mean, sometimes with no excitement or little or no excitement, no news is good news, so to speak. So anyway, next thing up is as far as Capricorn relationships go. Well, the sixth house in astrology represents the less dominant parent siblings. So we are talking about the aunts and uncles. Now, the thing about this is, and Gemini often falls on the sixth house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So one or more of these people may have a Gemini sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody Gemini-like characteristics, and can be people that are very mercurial, fickle, changeable, vacillating, ones that can be very talkative and loquacious, versatile, very multi-talented, multifaceted, can talk about a wide divergence of subjects, even be somewhat youthful. They can be also people that are quick-witted and quick thinkers. And also too, one or more of these people may be involved in a Gemini-like profession, such as working in some communications vocation like data communication or satellite communication, journalism, broadcasting, writing, and maybe doing something that is really which requires dexterity, good use of the hands, such as working as an AC mechanic or auto or refrigeration mechanic. Now, as far as the connection and relationship goes, with these people. It could be one which is really friendly and you have a lot of mental stimulation and good communication and conversation, but it may lack depth somewhat, and depth is what I'm saying, and maybe somewhat superficial and light, but hardly ever boring or monotonous, and one where a lot of variety is expressed and where you do enjoy many different activities with one another. So anyway, well, the next thing up is, well, as far as Capricorn relationships go, well, the seventh house in astrology represents the marriage partner, significant other, and generally speaking, the maternal grandmother and paternal grandfather. What I want to backtrack, people, is when I was talking about the first house before, is that I may have said that it represents the paternal grandmother and maternal grandfather, but it generally, what I wanted to revise that and amend that, because I want to say, if I said incorrectly, I want to say that generally speaking, that represents the first house represents the paternal grandmother and maternal grandmother. So anyway, but going back to the seventh house, we'll say it again, that the seventh house in astrology represents the marriage partner, significant other, and generally speaking, the maternal grandmother and paternal grandfather in most cases. And the zodiac sign, of course, Cancer will be on, as it is the opposite sign of Capricorn, will fall on the seventh house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So one or both of these people may have a Cancer sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody Cancerian-like characteristics. It could be people that are very temperamental, moody, changeable, very emotional, sensitive to criticism and ridicule, enamored with ancestral worship and history. Could be very nostalgic, but can be ones that brood a lot, but at the same time may also be very super sensitive, and ones that could be very protective as well. And it could be that one or both people may be involved in a Cancerian-like profession, such as working as a historian, a home caregiver, lifeguard, doing something in the home, such as an at-home business, or doing home renovation, repair, restoration, roofing, siding, working in a restaurant or fast food outlet, cooking, a culinary profession. And as far as the connection and relationship go with one or both these people, it can be one that's where you're very protective of each other. And it could be one, two, where it's very nostalgic and where you reminisce and reflect about past moments, often good and bad ones, perhaps. And one's two, where you really express a lot of strong emotion and sensitivity toward one another, and one where you're really show a nurturing attitude toward each other. So anyway, next thing up, as far as Capricorn relationships go, well, the eighth house in astrology represents intimate sexual relationships, and Leo often falls on the eighth house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So one or more people that are associated with this house may be a Leo, sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody Leo-like characteristics. It can be people that are very boastful, can sometimes be somewhat arrogant or egotistical, but very magnanimous, very generous, can be domineering, overbearing, yet very extravagant, and people that have a lot of courage and fortitude and show tremendous loyalty. Also, too, one or more of these people represented by that eighth house cusp could be in a Leo-like profession. Could be somebody that may do game design or development, such as developing video or board games, something connected with amusement, such as working in an amusement park, entertainment industry, theater, acting, or being an actress, doing some kind of work with children, or something of a creative endeavor. So anyway, Also, too, uh, as far as the relationship and connection goes with one or more of these people, can be one where you show a lot of loyalty toward each other, where a lot of fortitude and courage is expressed, but maybe somewhat extravagant, and where more money is spent perhaps than what is needed, but also very generous in the money department with one another, and generous of one's time with each other, where a lot of magnanimous energy is expressed. Anyway, well, the next thing up is, well, as far as Capricorn relationships go, well, the ninth house in astrology represents in-laws and grandchildren, and Virgo often falls on the ninth house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So, one or more of these people may have a Virgo sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody Virgo-like characteristics. It can be people that are somewhat persnickety, pedantic, or very wordy and verbose, somewhat critical and judgmental, but analytical, intellectual, very good organizing ability, but may even be somewhat of a near compulsive complainer. Could be people that are very neat and very, really, as far as dressing, very meticulously. So, also, as far as this goes, one or more of these people may be in a Virgo-like profession, such as working as a data analyst, doing something with statistics, some kind of analytical work, doing perhaps being a professional organizer, financial analyst, doing something connected with extrapolation of data, working in some kind of health nutrition field, such as working as a nutritionist or dietitian. And as far as the relationship and connection goes with these people, it can be one where it has some kind of frugality, where maybe not much money is spent on each other, but it can be one where you're very health conscious of one another and very service oriented, and but generally not being of service in an officious or unwanted manner, and one where maybe a lot of excessive criticism might be expressed on both ends. So anyway, well, the next thing up as far as Capricorn relationships go, well, the 10th house in astrology represents the dominant parent, which is often the father, and Libra will often fall on the 10th house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So this person may have a Libra sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody Libra-like characteristics. It can be someone that's very charming, diplomatic, refined, artistic, very good negotiating ability, somebody that is very peaceful and really amicable, amiable, has good social skills, person that is about intellectual sociability and bouncing ideas off others, and someone that's very fair-minded and equitable. Now, also too, one or more, this person, the dominant parent, often the father, can be in a Libra-like profession, such as working as a diplomat, negotiation, arbitration, doing something connected with the law, legal fields, such as working as a lawyer, attorney, paralegal, bailiff, judge, court reporter, doing something connected with art, such as drawing, sculpting, or painting. And also, too, as far as the connection and relationship goes with this person, it can be one that's very fair-minded with a strong, even give and take, one where you express a lot of charm, tact, and diplomacy, and one, too, though, where injustice can be strongly abhorred, or something that's unfair, where one will likely call the other out if there's something that is simply flat out not fair going on, and something's not equitable. So anyway, well, next thing up, as far as Capricorn relationships go, well, the 11th house in astrology represents friends and stepchildren, if applicable. So you do have them. Now, and the zodiac sign Scorpio will often fall on the 11th house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So one or more of these people may have a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody Scorpio-like characteristics. It can be someone, maybe people that are very intense, willful, intensely emotional, sometimes very secretive, mysterious, people that might be very, really power hungry, very controlling, manipulative, even in some cases surreptitious, but very resourceful and resilient in being able to see things very deeply and penetrate subterfuge and superficiality. Now, also, too, one or more of these people may be involved in a Scorpio-like profession, such as working in the occult, supernatural, astrology, could be working in embalming, a sex therapist, something, working as a coroner, a mortician, working in forensics, investigation, detective work, psychiatry, or psychology. Now, also, too, as far as the connection and relationship goes with these people, it could be one that's very powerful, intense. It could sometimes be destructive, but it could often have a lot of upheavals in it and certain maybe power struggles at times as well. But one that's very, very intense, and it's certainly something that these relationships can have a very, really strong, intense, and powerful impact on you, perhaps in one too, where really the connection can be where it could be very hard to lie to each other, because Scorpio energy, of course, is about really strongly detecting subterfuge and superficiality, so, and really seeing deep into the heart of matters. So anyway, well, last but not least, as far as Capricorn relationships go, well, the 12th house in astrology represents the dominant parent siblings. So these are aunts and uncles. And Sagittarius will often fall on the 12th house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Capricorn. So, one or both of these, or what I should say, one or more of these people may be a Sagittarius sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody Sagittarius-like characteristics. They could be people that are very jovial, jocular, very good-humored, sometimes even visionary, very blunt and straightforward and direct, sometimes to the point of demoralizing someone. Also, two, where they could be very expansive, exuberant, optimistic, try to see the positive aspects and elements and things, and also maybe very outdoorsy, and people that really don't like to be confined to indoors for too prolonged period of time. Now, also, one or more of these people may be in a Sagittarius-like profession, such as working as in some kind of import-export business, interpreter, translator, doing something with foreign countries, maybe something involving something connected with traveling, such as working in a travel agency, or working as a pilot or cruise director, somebody in adventure and exploration, or even in sports, working with horses. Now, as far as the relationship and connection goes, with these people, it can be one where the veritable Sagittarius-like truth is often expressed, where it's very blunt, straightforward, and direct, sometimes to the point of demoralizing each other. But it can be one that's really where a lot of jocularity and humor is actually expressed, and then you might even be playing some practical jokes on one another, and one where maybe you enjoy some kind of adventure, long distance journeys and trips with each other. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Capricorn relationships. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about Aquarius relationships. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.